Well, good morning, guys, and welcome back to Hidden Creek Homestead. My name is Mike. Today, we're getting ready to move our chicken coop up behind me because we're gonna get ready to start getting our garden going in this area. So, let's get the truck, attach the chicken coop, and start pulling. I've actually been putting this off for a few days because the ground has been so wet and muddy. I didn't want to get stuck with I didn't want to get stuck again. After that debacle loading the shed, man, I didn't even tell you guys the whole half of that. That was just insane. We got stuck a bunch of times. We tried to come from a different approach. We wound up getting stuck in a different area going downhill that we could not free ourselves from. Then we had to call a tow truck to pull out the box truck from the mud. What a nightmare. So anyway, today is, I don't know if you can see my breath or not, but it did below freezing. The ground kind of hardened up a little bit, so I think today's the day I can get some traction and pull that coop up. Let's go see how close we are. Back away. All right, chickens, hold on. They're probably like, what in the world? All right, up the hill was a success. Let's get these guys turned around. There we go. All right, now that we got the move, let's gather up our netting and get it set up. It's like 8 a.m. and they've been crowing for a while trying to get out of there, so they're probably not too happy with me right now. Sorry about that, guys. My camera died. I didn't even realize it. Anyway, we got our net all set up, and now we're embarking on the arduous chore of cleaning out the coop. Got a bunch of projects going on today, but in the meantime, there's a couple of Q&A questions that you guys had asked. I believe there was 2 in the YouTube comments, and we got a couple of emails as well. So we'll go ahead and address those. I got my buddy out here, my son Tyler. He's going to read. We went through everything. We wrote them down on a piece of paper, so he's going to go ahead and read off those comments. I'll do my best to answer for you. Shoot, buddy.
This one's from YouTube, Martha Porter. How did you decide to relocate in South Carolina? It's quite a change from Long Island.
That it is. Funny story. I guess probably Raina should have answered this question. My daughter. We looked everywhere up and down the East Coast. We know we wanted to stay on the East Coast. We have family in New York. We have family and friends down in Florida. We actually have family on the West Coast too, north and south in Idaho and California. But we wanted to stay on the East Coast. And we looked everywhere from our home state of New York, which there's good prices and beautiful country upstate, but it's just, we wanted to get away from the cold. Pennsylvania, same thing. There's a lot of good, properties up there, but just too cold for us. So we started, I think, what's the first place we lived? Virginia?
Yeah.
We lived in Virginia first. We actually had an offer on a farm, a 15-acre farm there, and wound up falling through. It was a really great property, but it was a very, very small town. There wasn't much going on for probably about an hour away from that town. So I guess it's probably for the better that it did fall through. I think we went down to the next state, which was North Carolina. Mm-hmm. All right, we went to North Carolina next. And that market kind of got picked clean already. I think every time we would see something, it would be sold within, literally hours from hitting the internet. So we had a hard time finding. The prices went up there. It was really difficult to find anything. So we were just kind of getting frustrated. And my daughter, Raina, had said that she wants to move to South Carolina because it has, what'd you say, good vibes?
Good vibes.
It has good vibes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was at the point where I was really looking to get out of New York and start the homesteading life. So I would have moved pretty much anywhere at that point. So she's like, listen, when you have small kids, it's easy to leave and go to different places because they're not rooted. They don't have, lifelong friends, and it's just a lot easier for them. But when you move a 12 and 16-year-old away from their home, it's a lot harder. So you kind of got to appease them and listen to their wants and needs too. So she said she likes South Carolina, which I found odd because she'd never really been there, right? We never really visited here before then. Just driving through and stuff.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, she said she liked it, and at that point, I was like, listen, I'll move anywhere you want at this point. I don't care. So fine, South Carolina it is. So we started looking here. We found a place in Anderson County, which is a county away from us. And that deal wound up falling through as well. And at that time that it fell through, we had an offer on our house back in New York, so we had to get out. And I started feverishly panicking and searching, and by dumb luck, this place had just happened to hit the internet when I sat down to look like minutes prior. So we found it. I made an offer over the phone from New York, and we drove down a few days later, looked at a couple other properties, and we picked them. So that's how we wound up in South Carolina. We didn't know anything about it. We liked that there was less regulation and that the weather was good, and it was a good cost of living. So that's how we wound up here, and I'm glad we did because I love it. What do you think? Do you like it here?
Yeah.
He likes it here. So we're happy. All right, what else you got?
Next one is from YouTube, from Jonathan Frame. Do you have any restrictions on the size of buildings and number of animals you're allowed to have because of zoning issues?
Jonathan, that's a good question. I know there's some restrictions in terms of where on your property certain buildings can be. For example, I wanted to put, you can't see right now, but where the camera is, that way behind the shed that you guys saw in the previous video, I wanted to put a big shop or garage back there. And from my understanding, you can't have that on the front lines of your house or in front of the house line. It has to be behind your property. Unless it's a barn or for agricultural use or something like that. So I think, not that I'm promoting doing the wrong thing, but I think people get around that by getting a permit and calling it a barn, and then you put your shop there or whatever, and you store some feed in it, I guess, or technically it is a barn at that point. But so that's pretty much the only restrictions that there are on actual how many buildings you can have or things like that. Animals, no. I think the only thing that you can't do is you can't be a nuisance, and I could be wrong on that, so don't hold me to it, but I think you can't create an abundance of foul odor and smell and driving your neighbors to go crazy, and that type of thing is not okay. But as long as you take care of your stuff and keep clean, there's no restriction on animals that we can have here. We're just outside of city limits, so there's it's unrestricted property. Of course, with any unrestricted property in any state, that could change at any time. They could, have rezoning hearings and stuff like that. But as of now, this is unrestricted property, and we can pretty much do what we want to do within reason. Good question.
All right. Next one is an email from Melissa H. Do you have a favorite animal on the homestead, excluding house pets?
So that's an easy one.
Yeah.
So for me, it would be Millie the goat. Millie the goat is my favorite. Yours too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought Blackberry was going to be your favorite animal. No.
He's annoying.
He's annoying. So Millie the goat is my favorite animal. She's the all-white goat. Most Nigerian dwarfs have kind of a coarse, type of hair coat. She's like this really soft, fluffy, not even human hair. Like it's just like she's like a cloud. When you touch her and your hand goes in like that much and then bounces back, she's just super, super soft. She's incredibly sweet. She's acrobatic. She's funny. Very personable. She's just coming up to you looking for, for some attention and for hugs and pets and all that. And she's just a sweet goat. She's definitely my favorite homestead animal, excluding the dogs. I would say, what about the chickens? Big Jake's my favorite. What about you? Yours too?
Jake.
Big Jake the rooster is my favorite chicken. Just because he's kind of majestic. He's kind of a handsome chicken, so he'd be my favorite chicken for sure. All right, next one.
Next one is another email from David Brash. You mentioned getting pigs soon. How many will you get, and where on your farm do you plan to keep them?
Well, I can answer half of that question. We're gonna get 2 pigs. I don't know if I intend to sell one or have a process and then sell the meat or partner with somebody on it, or if we're just gonna, if we can fit 2 pigs in our freezer, it's a 21 cubic foot freezer, plus everything else we're gonna have, then we'll keep 2. But we're definitely gonna get 2. They're gonna be, you'll actually in another video coming up soon, you'll meet the farm that the guy that owns the farm that we're getting them from, and you'll see the actual the pigs that are giving birth to the piglets that we're going to get. They're it's a Berkshire pig and an Old Spot. So our piglets will be Berkshire Old Spot crosses. We're going to get 2. Next part of your question, where do you plan on putting them? I have no idea. I really don't know yet. I initially thought right next to the goats. There's just some empty space right next to their pen that I could just get some T-posts and some hog panels, build a little gate and fence them in right there, and I may still do that. Or I have another idea that I just came up with the other day. It depends on how much progress I make right now with moving this tent and everything I have in there and where that's going to go. So that'll kind of dictate if my next idea will work for pigs. I'm not sure. Both ideas may get scrapped. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where I'm putting them yet. Maybe I'll put them in your room. No.
My room ain't that dirty.
Yeah. Well, we'll be dirty then. So yeah, I don't know where I'm going to put them yet, but we don't have much time to figure that out. So we actually did order meat birds. I don't know if any of you guys are doing that, but it's getting kind of hard to get them. Just like last year, I thought maybe it might ease up a little bit, but it's actually getting worse. We wound up getting 35 meat birds to start with. It's probably not enough for a year's worth of chicken, but we've never done this before, so it's going to be like a learning experience for all of us. So I'm going to start with something that I figure is, or at least I assume is a manageable amount of chickens, and we'll see what happens. But that's going to wind up taking up freezer space as well. So I got to get that. They're coming actually March 15th. So what's today's date? 10th, 11th, 9th, something? I don't know. It's we're like a week and a half into February here. And I've got to get a chicken tractor built first, because before you know it, it's March 15th, and I'm going to have little meat chickens running around. I know we have the brooders and stuff we can use, while they're real tiny, but they grow quick. So we're going to have to get going on that pretty soon. And then, a month later, you're talking about the arrival of the pigs. So I got to figure out where that pen's going to be really quick. So is there any more? That's it.
No, that's it.
So that's all the questions, guys. So we're gonna get going on some projects here. I'm probably not going to film all of it because the Q&A took a little bit more time, from what I can tell looking at the camera, than what I thought it would. So I don't want to make a hour-long YouTube video, but I'll just give you an abbreviated look at what the projects we're going to be doing here today. So I just went and picked up some lattice right here. I'm going to use that as a skirting around the shed, just to keep any large animals from going in there and digging out where the concrete blocks are. Plus, I think it'll help it look a lot nicer. So we're just taking whole sheets for now, and I'm ripping across the bottom, measuring at both ends, from top to bottom there, and then where the 8-foot section ends from top to bottom there, since the ground is not even. And I'm just putting a couple screws to hold them in place in the meantime to get everything set up, and we'll go ahead and fasten a little bit better. Also got to make kind of a cutout for the stair stringers to go in that spot. Well, alright guys, we got our lattice up around the sides. This is what I found for stairs temporarily. They are steel tube stair stringers. Yeah, I believe it's 14 gauge steel. I've got it mounted on a 4x4, excuse me, and I'm gonna level it up. And I just have one single bolt on each top of the stringer to the bottom of the shed right now, just to get it in place, and I'm gonna take everything off and then bolt 2x12s for stair treads on it. So here's what I'm using for stair treads. It's pressure treated 2x12. And I didn't know what size I was gonna make them, so when I was in the store the other day, I picked up one 12-foot length. And I just had them cut it in 3s into 4-foot pieces because we had my wife's small SUV and I couldn't fit a 12-foot board in there, and I wasn't sure if I was gonna make them 48 inches or 36 inches or what, so I just had them cut them in 3s. But after review of the door on the shed, I'm gonna measure 36 and cut them off at 36. Something to note whenever you guys make stair treads, I don't know if it shows up on camera, but there's a slight cup to the board. I mean, very, very, very slight. Usually that has to do with the grain pattern too sometimes. So always try to orient your cup upwards. In other words, you know, it'll continue to warp sometimes, and if it's the other way around, you can get water puddling on it, which will, you know, accelerate rot and everything. So if there's a slight cup to the wood, always have it, you know, that way, basically with the concave or the dome part of it facing upwards. We've got our stairs set in position. I re-slunk one screw back in there after I mounted these from the bottom. I used some galvanized lag screws. That's what I mounted the treads to the risers with, or stringers rather, excuse me, so they don't rust. We're gonna get this one set right now. So rather than cutting the lattice out around the stringers, I went over it just because I don't want any other animals being able to get in here. So I have a little bit of a gap here now, and I don't want to bolt right through that and want it bending this, so I'm going to take some washers and build up space behind it so that it doesn't bend this stringer. So the lattice seems to be about 3 washers thick, so that's what we're going to go with. So from years of being an electrician trying to figure out how to fit washers or something behind a piece of metal that's in a really tight space with giant fingers, I came up with this. You just tape the washers to a piece of tape and you just drop them in behind the hole. Then after you're all done, tighten it down, you just take the tape and pull it out. Well, that is a whole lot better. Whew. So a lot of you suggested that we build a ramp instead of stairs because we have the heavy equipment, and it just kind of makes sense to be, you know, pushing stuff up a ramp rather than having to go through all that with the truck again. The issue that I'm having and why I opted to go with the stairs is A, these are temporary. All I gotta do is take out 2 bolts and the stair set comes right out. I'm actually planning on building a box blind out in the woods for hunting, so I might be able to repurpose these for that at another time. Secondly, this area in front of me, or in front of the shed, should I say, is gonna be part of the garden. So in order, you know, this shed's 35 inches high, so in order to get a ramp that has the incline that we would need to make it useful, we would need such a long ramp. So it would kind of come and encroach on the garden area. If I do it that way, lengthwise along the shed, I wouldn't be able to turn that big toolbox and get it out and roll it down if I ever had to move it. And lastly, this shed might not stay here. It might be in a different place eventually, or we might move it back there or over here. I don't know. So, you know, I just wanted to make stairs temporarily so that I can get in and out of the shed and get what I need. And that's why we opted for this temporary set of stairs. A ramp is definitely a good idea, and it's definitely something that I would consider in the future. Guys, I almost forgot one more thing. We're gonna do a giveaway. There's gonna be actually 4 prizes that we're gonna give away, and they're gonna be 2 separate contests. The first one we're gonna do is something that I think is kind of neat, which is giving you guys some control over what happens here in this channel, a suggested video contest. So basically, all you have to do to enter, it's free to enter, is you would comment down below with a suggested video that we should make, or something that you want to see us make. I'm going to pick those 3 winners at random. What we have here, it's just a stupid little thing, but I think they're kind of neat. When we got our ATV, we got 2 keys for it, and we ordered 2 keychains that were custom made for our homestead and for the ATV. Well, they sent us 5. So 2 I need for 2 keys for the ATV, obviously. And we have 3 unopened new in the package, and I'm going to give those away to our viewers. They're kind of like like almost like a military name tag look to him. So it has Hidden Creek Homestead. I don't know if you can see with the glare on one side, and then on the other side it just says Yamaha ATV. So I have 3 of those to give away. So again, it's free to enter. Just leave in the comments a title or a subject of a video that you want us to make or that you'd like to see, and I'll pick 3 comments at random, and that'll be the winner of these. Obviously, I'm going to ship them out, you know, on my dime, so don't worry about shipping or anything like that. Lastly, to our shock, we are so close to 1,000 subscribers, and I never dreamed that that would actually happen. But I think we're 5 away. My son just told me as he was leaving before. We're at 995 as of right now. So that 1,000 subscribers is going to be like a big milestone for us. So I'm going to ask you guys to help us get there. All you have to do to enter is subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and hit that little bell icon. And we'll pick a winner. Obviously, it'll have to be someone who just subscribed. We can see that when we go to YouTube Studio. And the winner will be the recipient of a hat. So we had this hat made a while ago. It's a custom-made hat. It's got this nice leather tag. It has the old logo on it, but it's a good quality hat. It sat in a box. I forgot that we had ordered it, and we were just, a matter of fact, as I was getting some stuff moved around over there in the pantry, I found the box. Never been worn, brand new hat, and it could be yours. All you gotta do is subscribe and hit that little bell notification, and we'll pick a winner for the hat. So I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today on the homestead. Temperatures are still kind of warm from earlier, and I'm gonna get the fire ring going over here, and we will do some marshmallows with the kids and the family. So guys, please like, comment, and subscribe if you get a chance. Tune in for the next video. We'll be back with another one soon. And thanks again for being with us. Take care.